sister.
Well, we get into the Franciscan Hermitage here in Indianapolis, Indiana, on the seventh Sunday of Easter. You know, the translation that we use for the second reading, I think it points to some very important aspects of our lives. It says, friends, when life gets really difficult, don't jump to the conclusion that God isn't on the job. That's a more modern translation. You know, it's so important that you understand that there is joy and there is sorrow. That's part of everyday life. It's like a coin with two sides. You can't have one without the other. The problem is that so many people today are running away from that aspect of our lives that is difficult. And the point here is that all the challenges that we have in our lives today are there for a purpose. You can't grow spiritually unless you deal with the difficulties of life. If you run away from the difficulties in life, you will never spiritually grow up. And that's a big issue in our society today. Now, you know, I didn't know that I was dyslexic until about 5 years ago. But when I was going through philosophy in preparation for the priesthood, I had an extremely difficult time with studies, not understanding that I had the limits of dyslexia. I was called into the dean's office once at the very beginning of my philosophy, and he said, Justin, there is some doubt about whether you should be here. If he was talking about my grades, I could have told him. But the thought of leaving the seminary never entered my mind, because from the time I was 5, I knew I should be a Franciscan priest. And so I worked and I slaved over the difficulties of studying philosophy. Number one, I had a difficult time understanding why we should be excited about how many angels are on the tip of a pin. Or in cosmology, we were supposed to think about a white wall and then find out whether that white wall really exists. And I thought, you know, this is really stupid. And we had to do it all in Latin. And language has been extremely difficult for me all my life. Well, anyway, I put my nose to the grindstone and I got through it. And what I came out with was discipline, which I have carried with me for the rest of my life. See, this is how God works. God put that 3 years of difficulty in my life for the express purpose of training me in self-discipline. And that is then what I carried into the rest of my life. Now, all of us have to deal with difficulty in one form or another, and if you use it properly, you will grow spiritually. I mean, for example, you choose to have a hip replaced. you go into a situation in which you're going to experience a lot of pain, but you go through it because you know it's going to make you a better person when you get out of this. You will have a healthier body, and you will be able to function more effectively as a human being. So you go through it. And God blesses you then with this pain and suffering to understand that aspect of your life. That you put in the pain and suffering, and you get the results, which are always positive. My dear friends, I think it's really important for all of you to look into your lives where you find those things that are difficult for you and understand their value. And as Jesus accepted his suffering because it had purpose, if you look at the opportunities that you have in suffering, you will be able to do the same thing, following Jesus, accepting that in your life which is difficult and painful so that you can grow spiritually. That's what it's all about. I'm suggesting that you take time out this week and look over your lives. And when you find where the difficulty is, thank God for the difficulty and use it to grow spiritually. And you will find that your life will take on much more meaning, and that you will grow into a space where you'll be able to appreciate life more deeply and in a more real sense. See what you can do about making this a really wonderful week in accepting the challenges of your life. Remember, you have no limit because you are a powerful spiritual being. And your love can make the difference. Have a wonderful week, and God bless you all.